as a small therapy business, there's a few things that you can do in terms of marketing. I mean, there's actually a lot of things that you can do in terms of marketing, but there's two major buckets, right? There's organic, which is totally free, and then there's paid. So, which one should you do? My name is Huang. I'm an occupational therapist and certified hand therapist. And over 10 years ago, I started my therapy business. And over 5 years ago, I started hand therapy secrets, and it's a way of teaching and sharing and helping other OTs see that there's a lot more choices that you can have. One of your choices is to start your own business. You can either start it as a side business or do something like what I'm doing, which is creating long term opportunities for myself. What can I say? And when I first started, I didn't really understand the two big areas of marketing, which is organic and paid. Organic, I love organic. If you haven't seen any of my other videos on marketing, go check it out because I go into a lot of details about what to do in terms of organic marketing. But you're going to see that when you start out as a small business, there's a lot of information now. When I first started over 10 years ago, I felt like there was information, but it's not as much as it is today. And what happens is when you have a lot of information, it can be actually just as confusing as if you didn't have any information. So, what are you supposed to do? I think one of the biggest things is, if you're getting information from companies that want to sell you something, it can be really exhausting because it can make it really hard to make decisions around it. So, I just want to educate or share with you a little bit about the journey that I've been on because that's all I can share. Organic is free. And I love organic because you can go on any of the platforms. TikTok's popping right now, and it caters to a particular niche of people. And then you have Instagram, Facebook, and they all cater to a very particular population of people. You have LinkedIn. LinkedIn is really great for business to business. I think it caters to a certain type of personality as well. And then, of course, there's YouTube. Then you think in terms of organic, there's short form content, there's long form content. Long form just means like it's like what I'm doing right now, which is creating something over 10 minutes long, 5 minutes long. It doesn't have to be like super long. Like sometimes you'll see these big long podcasts and they're like 4 hours long. It doesn't need to be that long, but it needs to just be longer than 3 minutes. Short form content is considered like 60 seconds up to 3 minutes is still considered short form content. So organic just means like you can put out a lot of it for free. All these platforms that you see, you can totally put it for free. The biggest thing is getting over your fear of getting on camera, getting over your fear of sharing your perspective, making every excuse imaginable, saying, I don't have any time to do it, right? So yes, it's extremely time consuming, but I think there's also a lot of avenues in which you could create a certain amount and then hand it off to people who can, complete the process for you. Where I see most clinicians that are business owners that kind of getting stuck is they feel like they have to do the editing, they have to do the captions, they have to do it all themselves. And believe you me, been there, done that, thought I needed to do it all. And then I started to develop a system that just works for me and it works for the kind of staff that I have and the kind of staff that I'm willing to have. So organic is really great. And I think that, at the end of the day, organic and paid, you want to have both, but which one comes first? So I did organic first and then I started doing paid. And one of the reasons why I think that that's a really great way of doing it is because first, when you do organic, you start to learn your voice, you start to learn how you can say things, what you want to say, things like that. There's like a million things to talk about. But sometimes, because you want to make it perfect and because you can get in your own way, you're like, there's not enough for me to talk about. There's enough for you to talk about. You just have to be willing to put it out there and be able to put out a lot because there's so much noise in that space now. So organic is time consuming. It does cost some money, but it doesn't cost as much money. Now, paid ads, you can go into paid and spend a lot more money there. So if you have time, but you don't have money, organic's the way. If you start to have more money, paid ads are great. You can do Google ads, you can do Facebook ads, you can do YouTube ads. Facebook and Instagram is the same way. I think you can for sure do TikTok ads, I'm sure. There's LinkedIn. Every platform that lets you do something for free will also charge you. They will happily charge you. Thing with the paid ads is a lot of it's testing. So you have to, you have to have a certain amount of money. When you start doing paid ads, you want to plan for being able to continue. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned from paid ads is if you stop and go and you stop and go because you run out of money, then your ads don't take off and the things that you're trying to do just don't take off because you're starting and stopping, starting, stopping. So you'll tend to lose a little bit of momentum. So one of the things that I did was I did that. I started and stopped because I just didn't know what I was doing. So then I literally just cut all ad spending like on those platforms and I completely engaged in organic. And it was through organic creation, content, talking was how I started to get much better, get more clear with what I wanted to provide for, like, in terms of services for my patients, in terms of services for students. So I essentially went in and I dove all in into organic. Just one, because it was free, and two, I could just practice, right? And then once I got that rolling, I went back into paid ads, and now I'm just trying to keep that momentum going. So you have to make money in order to spend the money, and then the money spent will make you more money. Sometimes you have to be willing to spend money that you don't yet have because those ads are going to bring you the kind of patients and the kind of money that you want to have so you can keep going. But there's a certain momentum that you want to keep going with paid ads. And I don't think there's anything wrong with delaying that for a little bit until you get yourself more clear, until you get yourself a little bit of, I guess, like a safe runway so you can continue to keep going with that. So that's my take on organic and paid. You do at some point in your entrepreneurial career, you're doing both. At this point in my career, I'm running both. When I first started, I leaned heavily into organic and then was playing with ads. And then, once you have a certain amount of revenue coming in, then just think about how much you want to spend towards those ads to bring your message and your services to more eyeballs, right? You need eyeballs. If they can't find you, they can't work with you, they can't pay you. And that's pretty much marketing. Marketing is just like, hey, I want to get in front of more eyeballs. And if you want to share this video so I can get in front of more eyeballs, by all means, please do. Thank you very much. And if you want to hear more about what I have to share in terms of business and advice and things like that, all my details and info are below, and you can come join my email list. I put out an email every Wednesday. I share a video. I share my insights and things like that on business. So, get on that email list. I'll talk to you soon.